For generations, we've been told a consistent story, a narrative that has shaped our understanding of the world and our place within it. We've been led to believe that the planet is groaning under the weight of its population, overcrowded, with every square inch seemingly occupied, over-consuming resources at an unsustainable rate, driven by insatiable desires, and running out of space, pushing the limits of our environment. Images of crowded cities, choked with traffic, and endless urban sprawl reinforce this narrative, painting a picture of a world bursting at the seams, humanity multiplying too fast, outpacing the planet's ability to provide and sustain. The sheer numbers seem overwhelming, a relentless tide threatening to engulf everything in its path. But what if this story, so deeply ingrained in our collective consciousness, is only half the truth? What if there's another side to the coin, a reality that's been obscured by the prevailing narrative? Look closer, scrutinize the data, examine the trends, and question the assumptions. In nation after nation across continents and cultures, birth rates are not just falling slightly, they're plummeting, entering a freefall that defies conventional wisdom. The demographic landscape is shifting beneath our feet. Maternity wards are emptier than they've ever been, echoing with silence instead of the cries of newborns, and young people, faced with unprecedented pressures and uncertainties, are delaying or foregoing children altogether, making profound choices about their futures. This isn't just a localized phenomenon confined to wealthy, industrialized countries. It's happening worldwide, a global trend reshaping the very fabric of society. From bustling metropolises to remote villages, the story is the same. Meanwhile, our food, air, and water, the very elements that sustain us, are increasingly filled with a cocktail of chemicals and pollutants our ancestors never knew, substances with unknown long-term effects on our health and fertility. Is the real crisis not overpopulation, as we've been led to believe, but a future with too few people, a demographic winter that threatens our long-term survival? Powerful voices, influential figures in positions of authority, have long spoken of the need to curb population growth, often framing it as an environmental imperative, shaping policies and directing funding towards programs designed to achieve that end, influencing reproductive choices on a global scale. Their words, when examined with a critical eye, can sound chilling, revealing a perspective that prioritizes control over individual autonomy, calling for a smaller, more manageable global population, a vision of a world with fewer people, easier to govern and control. Could these falling birth rates, this demographic shift, and the pervasive environmental changes we're witnessing be connected to this long-held vision? A deliberate attempt to reshape the human landscape? We stand at a crossroads, a pivotal moment in human history. One story, the one we've heard for so long, warns of too many people, a planet stretched to its breaking point. The other, a more recent and unsettling narrative, speaks of humanity fading away, a slow decline into demographic oblivion. Is this a mere coincidence, an unintended consequence of our modern lifestyles, or is it something more deliberate, a hidden agenda playing out on a global scale? The questions are profound, demanding careful consideration and critical analysis, and the answers, whatever they may be, could determine the very course of our species, shaping the future of humanity for generations to come. To understand what's truly happening, to unravel this complex web of interconnected factors, we must venture into the shadows of this paradox, confronting uncomfortable truths and challenging long-held beliefs. The numbers are stark, painting a picture that demands our immediate attention. We're not just talking about minor fluctuations, we're witnessing a significant and concerning shift in global demographics. Fertility rates are in free fall across the globe. This isn't isolated to one region or demographic, it's a widespread phenomenon impacting nations across continents. The implications of this decline are far-reaching, affecting everything from economic stability to social structures. More than half the world now lives in countries below the replacement rate of 2.1 children per woman. This replacement rate is crucial for maintaining a stable population. When countries fall below this threshold, it signals potential long-term population decline and an aging demographic. From Europe to East Asia, the sound of children is fading. Once vibrant schools and bustling playgrounds are becoming eerily quiet, a stark reminder of the demographic shift underway. The laughter and energy of youth are slowly diminishing in these regions. Male fertility has plummeted, adding another layer of complexity to this crisis. It's not solely a female issue. Men are also facing significant challenges in their reproductive health. Sperm counts down over 50% in the West, with quality also declining. This alarming statistic raises serious concerns about the future reproductive capabilities of men in Western countries. The decline in both quantity and quality of sperm is a double blow to fertility. Women face rising infertility, with a growing number of women struggling to conceive. This increase in female infertility is a significant contributor to the overall decline in birth rates. PCOS, or polycystic ovary syndrome, endometriosis, a painful condition affecting the uterine lining, and premature ovarian failure, all contribute to the rising rates of infertility in women. These conditions can significantly impact a woman's ability to conceive and carry a pregnancy to term. Couples increasingly turn to expensive, invasive fertility treatments such as IVF in their quest to have children. These treatments can be emotionally and financially draining, and success is not always guaranteed. What's behind this crisis? Experts debate, offering various theories and explanations for the declining fertility rates. There's no single answer, and the causes are likely multifaceted and interconnected. Stress, the constant pressure of modern life, economic pressures, the rising cost of living and raising a family, and shifting social norms all play a role. The changing priorities and values of modern society are undoubtedly influencing decisions about family size and timing. People delay parenthood for careers and education, prioritizing personal and professional goals, only to find their biological window closing. The ticking clock of fertility can create a difficult dilemma for those who postpone parenthood, but many argue these factors alone can't explain the scale and speed of decline. There's a growing suspicion that something more profound and insidious is at play. Could invisible elements, unseen and often unnoticed, chemicals in our products, from everyday household cleaners to cosmetics, additives in our food, the countless preservatives and artificial ingredients we consume, pollutants in our air, the invisible toxins we breathe every day, be dismantling our ability to reproduce? Are these environmental factors silently eroding our reproductive health? This is not just a social issue, it's a biological one. It's a fundamental challenge to our very existence as a species. Our own progress may be turning against us in the most fundamental way imaginable. The very advancements we celebrate could be undermining our ability to create future generations. The future of humanity may hinge on what we discover next. The answers to this crisis lie in scientific research, public awareness, and a willingness to confront uncomfortable truths. Our world is saturated with chemicals, packaging, clothes, furniture, cosmetics. Many are endocrine disruptors, mimicking or blocking our natural hormones and interfering with reproduction. Plastics like bisphenol A and phthalates leach into our bodies from everyday items. Studies link these chemicals to lower testosterone, reduced sperm quality, and hormonal imbalances in women. Pesticides and herbicides like atrazine and glyphosate contaminate our food and water. Atrazine, banned in the EU but used elsewhere, can disrupt hormones even at low doses. We are conducting a massive, uncontrolled experiment on ourselves. Rising rates of hormone-related cancers and autoimmune diseases parallel our chemical exposure. Are these separate tragedies or connected dots in a larger picture? The chemical tide is rising, threatening the foundation of human health. The question is no longer if, but how much damage has already been done. Our food has changed radically in a century. Today's diet is shaped by industrial systems prioritizing yield and profit over nutrition. GMOs and Roundup Ready crops mean more glyphosate in our food, now found in everything from cereal to bread. Glyphosate is linked to gut disruption and is a probable carcinogen. Processed foods, stripped of nutrients and loaded with additives, fuel chronic inflammation and metabolic disease, both enemies of fertility. Our food system may be producing more calories but less nourishment. The modern plate, for all its abundance, may be serving up a hidden menu of infertility and disease. The early 2020s brought unprecedented medical interventions and societal controls. Lockdowns, mandates, and rapid vaccine rollouts changed daily life. mRNA vaccines arrived at warp speed, bypassing traditional safety protocols. Vaccine passports created a two-tiered society, raising questions about autonomy and consent. Reports of menstrual irregularities and rare heart inflammation surfaced, but were often dismissed. The pandemic response normalized digital health surveillance and tied freedoms to compliance. Whether necessary or opportunistic, these measures reshaped the relationship between individuals and the state. The legacy, a world more easily mobilized and controlled in the name of health. Was the focus truly on health, or on establishing new mechanisms of command? The debate continues, but the impact is undeniable. In the labyrinth of global power, where decisions echo through nations and shape the lives of billions, whispers of hidden agendas often surface. For those who suspect a deliberate agenda, a carefully orchestrated plan unfolding behind the scenes, the words of the world's most powerful are revealing. Their pronouncements, often veiled in diplomatic language or academic jargon, offer glimpses into the ideologies and priorities that drive their actions. These aren't casual remarks. They are carefully considered statements, reflecting a worldview that shapes policy and influences the course of history. For decades, elite circles have openly discussed, sometimes in hushed tones, sometimes in published papers, the challenges and perceived threats facing humanity. These discussions, often centered around issues like resource scarcity, environmental degradation, and societal stability, have led to some rather unsettling conclusions. The problem of too many people. The sheer scale of human population, its impact on the planet's resources, and its potential to strain social and economic systems has been a recurring theme in these discussions. Prince Philip, known for his outspoken views, once said he'd like to return as a deadly virus, a chilling statement that reflects a deep concern about the impact of humanity on the natural world. To solve overpopulation, a drastic and unsettling solution, highlighting the extreme end of the spectrum of ideas circulating within these circles. Bill Gates, through his foundation, has invested billions in vaccines and family planning, initiatives aimed at improving global health and empowering individuals to make informed choices about family size, and has spoken of reducing population growth through healthcare. He argues that healthier populations tend to have smaller families, a correlation that suggests improved healthcare can be a powerful tool for managing population growth. Jacques Cousteau, the legendary oceanographer, bluntly called for eliminating hundreds of thousands daily, a shocking proposition that underscores the urgency he felt about the environmental crisis. To stabilize population, a stark and unsettling vision of a world grappling with the consequences of unchecked population growth. Henry Kissinger's 1974 memorandum, a classified document that later became public, linked population growth in developing countries to U.S. security and resource access. It argued that controlling population growth in these nations was essential for maintaining American influence and securing access to vital resources. These aren't isolated comments. They reflect a consistent ideology, a shared set of beliefs and assumptions about the relationship between humanity, the environment, and the global order. Think tanks like the Club of Rome have long promoted the idea that humanity is a plague on the planet. They argue that human activity is inherently destructive and that drastic measures are needed to protect the environment. When fertility rates plummet and control systems rise, it's hard not to hear echoes of these voices, the pronouncements of the elite, the policies they promote, and the trends we observe in the world around us seem to align in unsettling ways. Is this all coincidence, a series of unrelated events that happen to converge in a disturbing pattern, or the realization of a long-standing vision? A carefully crafted plan, implemented over decades, to reshape the world in accordance with a specific ideology? The question lingers as the world quietly changes, as societies evolve, as technologies advance, and as the balance of power shifts. The words of the elite serve as a constant reminder of the forces shaping our future. The theory of a deliberate depopulation plan is chilling. It suggests a powerful elite is working to reduce the world's population through chemicals, tainted vaccines, GMOs, and engineered crises. Proponents see the convergence of these trends as evidence of coordination. The motive? Control. A smaller population is easier to manage and consumes fewer resources. In this view, sustainability is a cover for a misanthropic agenda. To believe this requires accepting a level of evil and coordination that's hard to fathom. It paints a world where trusted institutions may be working against the people they serve. The mainstream view is less sinister, but still troubling. There's no grand plan, just the unintended consequences of industrial society. Chemical companies chase profit, not population control. Food corporations seek yield, not harm. Pharmaceutical firms responded to crisis and opportunity, not a depopulation agenda. The crisis is blamed on systemic negligence, greed, and regulatory failure, not malice. Our civilization's pursuit of progress has created a machine that's now out of control. The problem may not be a few evil men, but a self-destructive system we all helped build. Whether by design or accident, humanity is at a crossroads. Our ability to create the next generation is eroding, while systems of control grow stronger. If this is by design, who drew the map, And why? If it's an accident, why aren't we stopping? The silence is disturbing. The future is being reshaped while we're distracted. The power to create life is shifting from families to corporations and labs. The power to govern our bodies is ceded to institutions. This is no longer a fringe topic. It's about freedom, health, and the future. Who will decide the shape of humanity, the people, or a powerful few? We stand in a moment of uncertainty. Is this crisis a plan, a consequence, or both? Perhaps elite desires for population control have found a partner in reckless industry. The path forward begins with awareness and asking hard questions. We must demand transparency, reclaim bodily autonomy, and hold the powerful accountable. This is a call to action, not despair. We can choose to build a healthier world, supporting real food, rejecting toxic products, and cherishing new life. Technology can connect us and break through censorship. The future isn't written, it's shaped by our choices. Will we accept a sterile, controlled world, or choose life, freedom, and a future worthy of our children? The choice is still ours.